The wedding hall in Lagos was suffocating. 200 guests sat in their finest attire, fanning themselves against the Nigerian heat, waiting for me to say 2 simple words. I couldn't do it. Kioma stood before me in her white gown, her dark skin glowing with perspiration, her eyes pleading behind the veil. She was a beautiful woman, kind, intelligent, successful. But she was also significantly overweight, and I, Marcus Chen, had built my entire identity on appearances. Do you, Marcus Chen, take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife? The pastor's voice echoed through the church. My parents had arranged this marriage, a business merger disguised as holy matrimony. Kioma's father owned half the oil fields in the Niger Delta. My family needed his connections. But I had my pride. I can't, I whispered. The church erupted. Gasps. Shouts. Kioma's eyes filled with tears before she turned and fled down the aisle, her bridesmaids scrambling after her. Marcus, my mother's voice was shrill. What have you done? I loosened my tie, ignoring the chaos. I'm sorry, but I won't be forced into this. I walked out of that church feeling liberated, not knowing I had just signed my own death warrant. Chapter 2. The Summons. 3 days later, I was back in Seoul, trying to forget the disaster in Lagos. My phone rang at 2 a.m., an unknown number. Mr. Chen. The voice was cold, precise, Korean. You will come to the Lotus Club in Gangnam 1 hour, alone. Who is this? Someone who doesn't appreciate men, who humiliate business partners. The line went dead. I should have run. Instead, curiosity and arrogance drove me to that club, past the stone-faced guards, into a private room where a man sat in shadows, surrounded by 6 men who looked like they killed people for cardio. Sit, the man commanded. As I sat, he leaned forward into the light. Kim Tae-yong. I recognized him immediately. Everyone in Seoul's business circles knew of him. Legitimate businessman on the surface, ruthless mafia boss underneath. He controlled everything from real estate to shipping to politicians. Do you know who Kioma Okonkwo's godfather is, Mr. Chen? My blood ran cold. Her father and I have been partners for 20 years. He helped me establish my operations in West Africa. And you, his voice dropped to a deadly whisper, you humiliated his daughter in front of 200 people. I didn't know. You didn't care, he lit a cigarette. Her father wants you dead, slowly, painfully. He has people who specialize in making death last for days. I couldn't breathe. However, Kim continued, I convinced him there's a better way. You will marry Kioma. You will treat her with respect. You will make this right. And if I refuse? He smiled. It was the most terrifying thing I'd ever seen. Then I will personally ensure your death is neither slow nor painless. Your parents will receive your body parts one by one. Your sister, he paused meaningfully. Well, let's just say there are fates worse than death. My hands trembled. You can't force me to. In one fluid motion, Kim grabbed my hand and slammed it on the table. One of his men placed a knife between my fingers. You will marry her or you will die. Choose now. Chapter 3. The Return. 2 weeks later, I was on a plane back to Lagos, this time without the fanfare. Kim had arranged everything, a private ceremony, just family, with his personal assurance that I would go through with it. One of his men, a stone-faced enforcer named Jin, accompanied me. Insurance, Kim had called it. Kioma met me at her family compound, her expression unreadable. You came back, she said quietly. I had no choice. I know, her voice was bitter. My godfather told me everything. You're here because you're afraid of dying, not because you want to marry me. Kioma, Save it, she turned away. Let's just get this over with. The ceremony was awkward and painful. I said the words. She said the words. We were legally bound, but emotionally oceans apart. That night, in the guest house where we were expected to consummate our marriage, Kioma sat on the opposite side of the room. I won't touch you, I said. Not unless you want me to. She looked surprised. Kim said you had to. He said I had to marry you, That's done. I ran my hand through my hair. Look, I was an asshole at that wedding. I humiliated you because I was too concerned with what people would think, but I won't compound that by forcing myself on you. For the first time, something softened in her expression. You're still an asshole, she said, but maybe slightly less than I thought. Chapter 4, Living Together. The first month of marriage was hell. We lived in Kioma's Lagos penthouse, sleeping in separate rooms, barely speaking. Jin stayed in a nearby hotel, Kim's ever-present reminder that I was being watched. But slowly, something shifted. I learned that Kioma ran 3 successful businesses, a tech startup, a fashion line, and a nonprofit providing education to girls in rural Nigeria. She was brilliant, funny, and passionate about her work. One evening, I found her crying over her laptop. What's wrong? Investors pulled out of my tech company. They said they don't trust a woman of my size to have discipline. Her voice cracked. All my life, people have judged me by my body instead of my mind. Without thinking, I sat beside her. Show me the business plan. She looked skeptical but handed over her laptop. I spent 3 hours reviewing it. This is genius, I said finally. Your investors are idiots. My family has venture capital connections. Let me make some calls. Why would you help me? Because you're my wife, and because this actually deserves funding. Something changed between us that night. Chapter 5, The Shift. Over the next few months, I found myself genuinely wanting to spend time with Kioma. We'd have dinner together, discussing business, politics, and life. She challenged me intellectually in ways no one ever had. I started noticing things. How her eyes lit up when she talked about her nonprofit. How she commanded a room with quiet confidence. How she was patient with people who underestimated her. One night, she asked me directly, "Why did you really reject me at the altar? Be honest." I took a deep breath. Because I was shallow. Because I thought love meant being with someone who looked like a model. Because I was more concerned with my friends' opinions than with who you actually were as a person. And now I realize I was an idiot who almost missed out on an extraordinary woman. She studied my face. You're only saying that because Kim is watching. Kim stopped watching 2 months ago. Jin went back to Seoul 6 weeks ago. I moved closer. I'm here because I want to be. Marcus. I'm falling in love with you, Kioma. Not because anyone's forcing me. Because you're amazing and I was too blind to see it. Tears filled her eyes. You really hurt me. I know, and I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you if you'll let me. She was quiet for a long moment. Then, slowly, she reached for my hand. I'm not ready to forgive you completely, but maybe we can start over. I squeezed her hand. I'd like that. Chapter 6, The Turn. 6 months into our marriage, everything changed again, but this time for the better. Kioma's tech company launched successfully with my family's investment. It became one of the fastest-growing startups in Africa. More importantly, we became partners in every sense: business, emotional, and finally, physical. The night we first made love, Kioma was nervous. Every man I've been with made me feel like I should apologize for my body, she whispered. I kissed her softly. Your body is perfect, you're perfect. I took my time worshiping every inch of her, showing her with actions what words couldn't express. Afterward, she cried in my arms, not from sadness, but from finally feeling truly seen and desired. I love you, I said, and meant it completely. I love you too, she replied, even though you're still kind of an asshole sometimes. I laughed. Fair enough. 2 years later. Kim Tae-young attended our second wedding, the one we chose to have, a renewal of vows on a beach in Seychelles. I told Mr. Okonkwo this would work, Kim said, clapping me on the shoulder. Sometimes people need encouragement to see what's in front of them. You threatened to kill me and mail my body parts to my parents, I pointed out. He smiled. Aggressive encouragement. Kioma, now 6 months pregnant with our first child, waddled over and hugged him. Thank you, Uncle T, for everything. He softened, something I'd never seen before. You deserve happiness, little one, even if I had to terrify this fool into realizing it. As Kim walked away, Kioma turned to me. Can you believe where we started? I pulled her close, resting my hand on her swollen belly. I was the biggest idiot in the world. She raised an eyebrow. AM, present tense, but I'm your idiot now. She kissed me. Yes, you are, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Looking back, I realized that the worst day of my life, when I rejected Kioma at the altar, led to the best decision I never made, marrying the woman who became my everything. It took a mafia boss's death threat to open my eyes, but once they were open, I saw what had been there all along. Love isn't about appearance. It's about finding someone who challenges you, completes you, and makes you want to be better. And sometimes, it takes a ruthless Korean mafia boss to teach you that lesson.